60 seconds to unload all my greatness. A minute to apologize for my lateness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your girl DeLaurian, and I am back and better than ever. Welcome back to Let's Talk. We are in episode number 5, and I am so ready to run my mouth because I think today's topic is going to be a real good reality check for some of us, including myself, you know. I'm really excited about today's topic. How are you guys doing? What's going on? Talk to me down in the comments. I appreciate more of you are starting to talk to me in the comments on our podcast videos. I'm really appreciating it. So I am your host, DeLaurian, motivational speaker, recording artist, future author, owner of sexandthethrifty.com. I want to give our lifer shout out to Kiddist Gashaw. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Again, is it Kiddist Gashaw or Gashaw? Now, I want to give you a shout out because in the comments in the podcast last week, you said you just ended a situationship. So I want to give you a shout out because that's not an easy thing to do. It sounds like that topic was right on time for you. So here's a shout out to you, girls, sending much love, positivity, and encouragement your way. And know that you did the best thing for you. And it's never a mistake when you put yourself first. So kudos to you, girl. Kudos to you. With that being said, honey, we are going to skip. We're going to skip right to my loo into the topic for today. And the topic of the day is 3 reasons you are not ready for a relationship. Again, 3 reasons you are not ready for a relationship. Okay? Number 1, you don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you want? How can you tell someone else what you want if you don't know what you want? Why don't you know what you want? Now, I have a theory about this, and I think that sometimes not knowing what you want can be a product of a couple things. 1, you haven't had an effective season of singleness. I'll say that again. You haven't had an effective season of singleness. Why is that important? Why don't I need to date to figure out what I want? Absolutely. However, not knowing what you want, in my opinion, can mean that sometimes we go from person to person, experience to experience, and sometimes we truly don't take the time to really sit back and assess, why didn't this work? What went wrong? Were there red flags that I ignored? Were there some things that I brought to the situation that weren't the best? Were there some qualities and characteristics that I displayed that weren't the best representation of myself? Did I allow some things that I shouldn't have? Was I too cool? Did I not hold him accountable for some things? Sometimes, and I would be willing to bet that most people don't really sit back, take a beat after you've come out of a dating situation and really assess what I want, what I don't want, what I liked, what I didn't like. Now, there are going to be some things that come to you organically that you say that you're experiencing when you're dating this person and you're like, you know what? No, this doesn't work for me here. No, I don't like when men do that. Or I don't like when my partner does this and it sticks with you, right? But then sometimes there are some smaller things, some smaller detailed things that are important that if you don't really sit back and take some time to think about those things, really assess those things, you won't be conscious of that going into your next situation. There are a lot of people who you have a season of singleness, a time where it's just you, but it's not effective and it's not impactful because you haven't assessed yourself. You haven't truly, thoroughly assessed the situation. If you don't know what you want in a relationship, in a partnership, and I mean down to the T, If I asked you right now, what do you want? What are you not willing to accept? What is important to you? What is your perspective and your view on conflict resolution in a relationship? How do you want your mate to address you and approach you when they have an issue with you? What works best for you in those times? Are you a person who likes to spend more quality time with someone or not so much? Are you someone who wants a man that has a lot of female friends, or does that make you uncomfortable? Are you wanting a man who's driven and goal-oriented and success-driven and results-oriented, or do you like a man who is not really enthralled with his career? Do you want someone who spends a lot of time at home, or do you need your space? I mean, things that you may not really think about unless you do it intentionally. If it's anything that I've learned, is we got to be intentional when we're dating. We got to be mindful when we're getting to know someone, because in those beginning months, in those early stages, this is the time when you are observing this person against the things that are important to you, against the things that you need or you want, right? So there could be something as small as, this guy works 6 days a week. And for me, that might be cool because I'm busy and I have a demanding career and I like time alone and I value that to recharge. So him working 6 days a week isn't a problem for me. But for you, that may be an issue. You may not know in the beginning that it's an issue if you haven't experienced it and really taken the time to really think about that thing and say, no, this doesn't work for me. And so moving forward, mental note says, no, I don't really gravitate toward a man who's too career driven. I need a man that has a little bit more work-life balance. Okay, work-home balance. I don't want a man that works 6 and 7 days a week. While to Susie, that may be cool. It may be perfect for her. It's cool for her. So really taking the time to understand the things that work for you and don't work for you, gel with you and don't. So when you're dating, you understand early on. So you're not wasting your time. If you don't really know what you want now, and mind you, you're going to learn this. You're going to learn this along the way. But when you have your times of singleness, and even if you are dating, make note of those things mentally. Really understand those things. Assess the things that are deal breakers for you. That's really important to you. So when you move into the next situation, you are equipped. Okay, you have grown, you have evolved further than what you were when you entered your last situation. So I think one of those reasons is we don't have an effective season of singleness. Really take advantage of your season of singleness when it's just you, when you're single-minded and you're not giving a lot of your time and energy and emotions to someone else, where you can give that to yourself and really know strongly what it is that works for you, what you want. So when you see it, the things that you don't want in someone, you have the strength and you have the understanding and the comprehension to say, that's not going to work for me. You're a great person. I think you're dope, but those few things, they're not really going to work for me. So make sure you have an effective season of singleness, okay? And why is it important to know what you want? Because you got to know what you want so you can communicate that to someone else. How can you demonstrate what's important to you and what you want in a situation if you don't know that? And another reason why folks don't know what they want and couldn't articulate it truly if you asked them is because they do not know who they are. And another part of that is really being introspective in your journey, whether you're single or not. You have to know who you are. You have to have a firm understanding of what you like, what you don't like, what you bring to the table, what's important to you, what's not important to you, what you stand for, what you don't, what you enjoy. You got to know yourself truly through and through, because how can you teach me how to treat you if you don't even know how to treat you, if you don't know how to treat yourself well, how can I treat you well if you don't treat yourself well? In order to know what you want, you need to have impactful and effective seasons of singleness, and you need to understand and continue developing a relationship with yourself. You have to know who you are. You have to have a healthy relationship and adoration and respect for yourself in order to be strong enough to demand that from someone else. I hope you guys heard that and heard it well. I mean that thing. You have to know who you are. You have to be strong enough to walk alone sometimes, because entertaining people of lower value and people who do not meet your standard is only going to waste your time and your energy that can be spent pouring into yourself. Develop a relationship with yourself and use your seasons of singleness as well as your seasons of dating to really be effective in assessing yourself and what you need and want, so you will know what you will accept and won't from potential suitors. All right? Number 2, you haven't cultivated your value. All right, DeLaurian, talk to me. What are you saying here? What I'm saying is, we talk about often what men bring to the table, but I have a question for us, ladies. What are you bringing to the table? I am the table. Are you? Okay. If you can stand in that thing, then cool. But truly, what do you bring to the table? Have you really cultivated who you are as a person? Now, let me make this clear. I've always held and maintained this standard. You should be cultivating a relationship with yourself and cultivating yourself and creating value for yourself first. We don't create value for ourselves so we can get a man, so we can attract a relationship. No, I'm building myself up. I am living and learning every day. I'm going after what I want because this is what fulfills me as an individual, as a woman, as a human being, as a person. Okay? Because friends come and go, men come and go, but your purpose and your gifts, talents, and abilities, they will never forsake you. So it behooves you to develop and cultivate who you are as an individual. I want to be a well-rounded individual. I want to be a well-rounded woman for me. And whoever I decide is a great partner will reap the benefits of what I've cultivated for me, because it's fulfilling. I get up and do my job every day and my work every day because it fulfills me. It brings me fulfillment that is irreplaceable. It brings me a joy that no human can replace. That gives me value for myself. So when I get up and look in the mirror in the morning, I see someone that I can be proud of. Even on my worst day, I'm proud of who I am. Even when people don't like me, even when people have opinions of me, when I look at DeLaurian in the mirror, I like who I am. Even on my worst day, even when I'm not feeling it, I know deep down inside, I am irreplaceable. I am memorable. I am striving. I'm a good person. I keep my head down and I do the work. I don't beg anyone for anything. I don't bother folks. I'm doing my thing. I'm a great individual. I bring value. I'm loving. I'm loyal. When you look in the mirror, what do you see first? Who do you see? And when you look in that mirror and what it is that you see, if you don't like it, have compassion for yourself, but get to work. Develop the things that are not as strong as you want them to be, because that's what I'm doing. In 2019, this is really, truly my year of self-development and execution. My word for the year is execution, but up under that thing is self-development. I've challenged myself to read more books because I've been slacking in that area. I'm challenging myself to learn French because my siblings are French and live in France, and I want to be able to speak with them fluently. I've been putting it off for years. I'm challenging myself to cultivate DeLaurian into a better woman, a more well-rounded woman that brings more to the table, that does more, that expands my worldview. I'm going to try new things this year. I just want to be more. I want to be more. I want to be more of an experience for myself first. What are you cultivating for yourself first? Don't forget that. And whoever you decide to link up with in a relationship, they will reap the benefit from that. But understand that as you are cultivating yourself, as you are developing yourself, understand that that is an important part of a relationship. Because when I think about relationship, I think about what did he bring to me? How was he of value to me just as a person? Did he add anything to my life? Did he challenge my worldview? Did he challenge my perspective? Did he teach me anything? Did I learn anything just naturally? Did he make me feel good in his presence? Did he elevate me? Did he comfort me? Was he supportive? What experience did he bring? And in turn, I have to challenge myself and say, well, what experience did I bring? What did you do? Were you supportive? Were you loving? Were you loyal? Were you attentive? Were you there? Did you offer your gifts, talents, and abilities? What did you do? And I think that if we cannot look at ourselves and say we're not really cultivated, if all we're feeding ourselves is reality TV, come on now, let's be real here. Let's talk for a minute. If all we're feeding our minds is reality TV and love and hip hop and Wendy Williams and just going to work and coming home, not really pouring into ourselves, not really being abreast of what's going on in the world, not reading, not learning anything new, not doing anything different. We're just monotonous because we're just trying to get by. We're trying to survive. But I'll tell you what separates the good from the great. It's the experience. The mediocre from the extraordinary. It's the experience a person brings. Yes, be yourself, but really look at yourself and say, honestly, what do you bring? What would a person gain from being in your world? Really think about that thing. Now, we're cultivating ourselves for ourselves first. But also understand it is very real that who you are as a woman first for yourself affects the person you're in a relationship with. If you're not really about anything intellectually or mentally, it's not just about the body. We're not just bringing boobs and butts to a relationship. We're not just offering our bodies in a relationship, because that's not going to keep a high value man who has things to offer, who has good conversation, who is progressive, who has things going on. Are you really valuable as a person for yourself first? If not, challenge yourself. What have you always wanted to do? What have you always wanted to learn? What have you always wanted to do? Think about that thing. What are some areas where you know I need to tighten up? Develop it for yourself first, and understand that as you're developing yourself, as you're broadening your experience with yourself, for yourself, that affects greatly the relationship and the quality of men and significant others that you attract. And that's real talk. So if you haven't cultivated your value, if you can't really tell me what value you bring to yourself first and how that value affects your significant other, maybe you're not ready for a relationship, because we're not just entering relationships all willy-nilly just to go out to eat, because we can do that alone. We're not just using men to feed us. We're not inviting people into our lives, into our worlds and our energy to have a stake. No, I'm protective of my peace, of my energy, of my time, of my space, of the access that is allowed to me. I'm fiercely vigilant in protecting myself. So if you're not going to add anything to me, sir, if you're not bringing any value, any perspective, any experience to my world, as I'm actively looking to develop myself as well and offer those things to you, then what are we doing? I'm not wasting time with anyone. And that's another part of important seasons of singleness. We should always be into self-development. But, when you are single, you do have more time to yourself. And that's in a prime time to be able to really pour into yourself and develop yourself. Okay? So number one, you might not be ready for a relationship if you don't know yourself well enough to know what you want. Number two, you haven't cultivated your value. You're not really developing yourself. And number three, you're entertaining men who are beneath you. You are entertaining partners or potential partners who are beneath you, period. And when I say beneath you, I mean people who are offering you little to no effort, people who you're settling for, and people who really just don't move you. That situation is beneath you. It's not belittling someone. I'm not speaking in that way. I'm saying this situation is beneath you. This person, the situation, the package, it's beneath you. You're working hard to develop and cultivate who you are, and you're working hard on yourself. You're driven in your career, and you got a joker that don't want to get up and work. Nah, that situation is beneath you. You want someone who's going to match wits with wits, and it's not about matching income numbers, but someone who can go out and have an experience in the world and bring back interesting conversations. Someone who you can talk about your things at work, he can talk to you about his things, and you both can brainstorm with one another and push each other and challenge each other. Some interesting perspective and conversation. I don't want to talk to a man who does not want to work. Excuse me? I don't want to give my time and attention to a man who doesn't want to spend time with me. Excuse me? Do you know who I am? I am a prize. I am special. I am rare. I offer a lot of love and affection, and I will be damned if I give my time to a man who doesn't value me enough to want to spend time with me. Are you crazy? I have experienced that before, and it does not feel good. So I will never accept that again. If you have a man in your hemisphere that does not want to spend time with you, drop him. If you have a man around you, orbiting around you, who does not want to give you effort to show how special you are to him, drop him. If he is not reaching out to communicate with you consistently, drop him. If he's not going out of his way, if he never inconveniences himself for you, drop him. If everything has to be on his terms, drop him. If he is not understanding, drop him. If he's arrogant and looks down on you and is condescending, drop him. You are not ready for a high quality, healthy relationship if you are entertaining men who are giving you unhealthy habits, unhealthy treatment. So let's check ourselves. Let's look in the mirror and let's really think about this. Is there someone orbiting in your life that you're entertaining that doesn't really deserve to be here? If the question is yes, why? Why even give him that little bit of energy? Why? He does not deserve it for principle's sake. Why? You're worth more than rubies and gold. Why are you entertaining plastic? Only reserve your time for high quality potential partners. People who show you the respect you deserve. And you know how you communicate that? By respecting yourself. People learn how to treat you by how you treat yourself. People learn how to treat you by how you treat yourself. You have to learn how to command the respect that you want by treating yourself with respect and by not being afraid to communicate the respect that you expect. And the right man who is worth his salt will rise to the occasion, even if it is challenging, because sometimes men will try you because they have experienced certain women that allow certain things. So they're just following suit. But sometimes you have to let a joker know, no, that doesn't work for me. What I like is a man that's important to me. If we make plans and you're going to be late, if you could just, just let me know. But texting me an hour later, that doesn't work for me. Keisha might have let him do that. Keisha might have let him stand her up. But that's not going to work for you. And people don't know unless you tell them. And you can't be afraid to communicate what you like and what you don't like. It's all in delivery. It's all in how you do it. Okay? Let's really take a moment of self-reflection here. Do you know what you want? Are you cultivating your value as a person, as an individual? Are you developing yourself? Because if you just want to get into a relationship just to say you have a man, you don't need to be in a relationship. Because a relationship is about relating to someone, an exchange of ideals, of passions, of affections, of intellect, intelligence, emotional intelligence, a safe space. And if you haven't been those things to yourself, how can you be those things to someone else? And number 3, lastly, you are entertaining situations that are beneath you. You're not ready for a relationship if you are so afraid to stand in your ground that you entertain people who don't deserve to be there. I really enjoyed this topic. Oh, I could talk about this all day. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about this. I pray this was meaningful and impactful and encouraging to someone out there. Please share this with your friends. Please send them my channel, DeLaurian, and let them know what we're talking about over here. I think this is good, healthy dialogue. Listen to this while you are at work. Send it to someone who else can listen to this on their commute to work or home from work. And it'll help the day go by, because I love podcasts and it truly helps me when I'm in the shower, when I'm cleaning, and when I'm getting my tasks done. I really hope that this brings about some self-reflection. Okay. And if you aren't attracting or coming into contact with high quality people, maybe it's because there's some things within ourselves that needs to still be developed before we're truly ready to meet the person that we deserve and the person that deserves us. All right. Now, I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day. I love you so much. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and remember, subscribe to me so I can continue to pour life right back to you. Bye-bye.